You're looking at the North Fields in South Bend, Indiana, where today TV 46 kicks off its coverage of spring sports in the high schools with a dandy softball match at the Northern Indiana Conference. Number 5, New Prairie visits the state champion St. Joseph Indians on this edition of the 46 Game of the Week. And how you doing, everybody? Alongside the Hall of Famer and former Pirate minor leaguer, Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. Great to have you with us for what should be an exciting matchup on TV 46. And the first of 7 weeks of spring sports coverage. We didn't start you with an hors d'oeuvre. We've got an entree here. As you take a look at this New Prairie team, Bo, they're built like a lot of Major League Baseball teams you see these days, pitching and power.
Yeah, when you look at this New Prairie Cougar team, they like to get on the mound. They like to throw strikes, get a lot of strikeouts. They don't use a lot of defense because they don't need to because there's a lot of strikeouts. But then when it comes to their offense, they don't use the small ball game, which a lot of softball teams do, laying some slap shots down, laying some bunts down as well. They like to hit that long ball just like the Major League team. So it'll be interesting what they can do tonight against the K.
Now, we mentioned the state champion St. Joseph Indians. That was in 3A last year. They've moved up to 4A, but they've brought a lot of players back from that team. And Earl Keith's got things covered from A to Z. Oh, especially the Z's.
Yeah, when you're talking about the Z's, you're talking about the K's, the pitcher, the catcher, Riley behind the plate, Berkeley on the mound. Everything goes through them, and I think that's one of the things you'll see with Berkeley, high 60s, right around 70. That's the Alabamas, the Oklahomas, the Floridas. I mean, you're talking a college pitcher right there already and just a sophomore. So when you're looking at this team, everything goes through those two.
And this is a key game in the Northern Indiana Conference race, even though it's the conference opener today. Both of these teams looking at a chance to contend with the last year's conference champion, Penn.
Yeah, when you look at this game, you would think that this would be later in the season, but it's just the way the schedule works out. You'd love to have it later in the season. Biggest thing is, most of these schools are just coming off spring break. So they're just getting their minds back, just getting back into the swing of things. So, you know, we'd like to see it later on, but we have it for you tonight.
If you haven't seen these two pitchers yet, you're in for a treat. We'll tell you about them in our Keys to Win. That's next on the 46 Game of the Week.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week, brought to you by HealthLink, Precision Door, Hometown Pharmacy, Ivy Tech South Bend Elkhart, Health Markets Tony Letcher, Martin Supermarkets, Purdue Northwest College of Nursing, Bill's Heating, City of South Bend Golf, Reliance, Basney Honda, Warren Golf Course, Crown Trophy, and the IHSAA.
The TV 46 High School Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by HealthLink, your community health center. Welcome back inside the Martin Supermarket broadcast booth here at the North Fields in South Bend as we get you ready for number 5, New Prairie and St. Joe. Time now to look at our keys to win and our key players in today's game. And really, for both teams, it's all about focusing on the batteries because that's what provides the power for those two teams. Because with the New Prairie Cougars, their pitcher is Ava Geyer, 14-4 in her career, 3-0 this year. She has not allowed an earned run. In fact, she's only allowed 1 hit in 13 innings so far this season, fanning 29 and walking 2, but she's also hitting at a 500 clip. And she gets a lot of help from her catcher, Michaela Collins, the senior. Hit a grand slam Saturday against Griffith. She's batting 400 for the year and is tied for the school's career home run record. The keys to win for the veteran Derek Hicks and his Cougars.
The keys to win tonight for the Cougars, they need to make sure they play with confidence, and that's one of the things coming in this game. They got to act like they're the 5th-rated team in the state. They need to put the ball in play. They played St. Joe last year in the playoffs, wasn't able to put the ball in play. That's one of their keys today, and they need to be clean on defense. They can't have any errors. If they walk somebody and somebody gets on base, they cannot give up that extra base that leads to a run.
Moments ago, I talked with Derek Hicks about what he likes about his team this season.
Well, they seem to be very focused. I'm really happy with what they're doing. They didn't say a peep on the way over, so the same thing they did at Lakeshore the other day and came out well with that one, so kind of hoping for the same results today.
They've got to face a dandy pitcher today, though, by the name of Berkeley's K, the 6'1 sophomore. 17-1 a year ago, leading her team to a state championship with a 0.40 ERA. And how did she open 2023? With a perfect game against Mishawaka. Her sister ain't bad either. Riley Zakay, the junior catcher, is committed to play at Missouri. Last year, she batted .561 with 10 homers and garnered all-state recognition. The keys to win for Earl Keith and the Tribe.
Well, when you look at it, they need to get on Geyer quickly. We talked about that, only giving up 1 hit this year. They need to make sure they get on her early. Throw strikes with Zakay. They cannot give up those walks like we just talked about earlier. And keep the pressure on. They need to keep putting the ball in play, keep putting that pressure on the defense.
Earl Keith knows that after winning a state championship last season, his team wears a heavy target on its back.
You know, it's really kind of cool. I think by us needing to move up a class automatically for the success rate, I think it kind of let everybody take a step back where we didn't get to sit around and say, oh boy, we are really good. Because now you move up a class and you have 50 teams as good or better than you. So with that, I think it really helped keep us grounded more than anything, just to stay where we were. But the girls I have, they're so competitive. They don't let anything get in their way. They're not arrogant. They're like a bunch of sisters. And man, I'm really blessed to have that situation, because the chemistry is everything with this team, and they're showing it so far again this year.
The state champs are ready, but New Prairie's not impressed. They beat a state champion in Lakeshore last Friday. They'd like to add another feather in their cap today with a win over St. Joe. Those have been our key players and our keys to win. The starting lineups of the first pitch from the Northfields are next on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you by Precision Door Service. Garage doors done right. This should be softball done right under clear skies in April tonight in South Bend as the state champions St. Joseph Indians take the field. We're ready for the New Prairie batting order. Here's Bo Hunt.
Here you can see the starting lineup for the New Prairie Cougars. We're not quite getting it up there. Leading off is Abby Robakowski. She had 7 homers last year. There you go. Got the Robakowski sisters there. Michaela Collins had 13 home runs. So the top of the order, you had 20 home runs between Robakowski and Collins. Geyer on the mound, of course. Luther, 2 home runs already this year. And Willoughby down at the bottom down there. Hot start. .333 batting average so far this year.
They're going to need all the weapons they can to go against the talented sophomore Berkeley Zakay. 17-1 last season with a 0.40 ERA. She threw a perfect game in the opener against Mishawaka. Last year, 123 and 2/3 innings, 262 strikeouts, 28 walks, and she gave up just 19 hits. One of the reasons she was an all-Northern Indiana Conference selection a year ago. Boy, just an ideal Chamber of Commerce day in South Bend. 68 degrees, a gentle zephyr blowing out of the southwest, which will be out over the right field fence. And not a cloud to be found in the skies. We're glad you've joined us for high school softball, the first of our 7-week package of a variety pack of spring sports for you here on TV 46. But what a way to start things off, and we'll start things off with Abby Robakowski, the third baseman at the dish, facing Berkeley Zakay. And Robakowski takes down low, ball 1. Abby batting .750 on the young season with no homers and 3 driven in. She was a third-team All-State selection a year ago. The 1-0, the inside low, it's 2-0.
One of the keys to wins for New Prairie was making sure that they try to get on base by making Zakay throw a lot of pitches. Don't chase anything in the dirt.
Third baseman Sandor playing in. And this one's lined to Savannah Hamilton at second for the out. When I saw St. Joe play against Mishawaka, that's the exact way that game started as well. A line out to second base, so a little bit tardy on the swing. And it brings up Randy Robakowski, the younger of the 2 sisters. Randy batting .667 on the season. left-handed hitter who Derek Hicks describes as a lawn slap hitter, and we'll talk about that after the first pitch. Zakay misses low, ball one, as we meet the St. Joe defense, which hasn't been challenged a lot this year, but, well, that's the New Prairie defense there. We'll take a look at the St. Joe defense momentarily. First, the 1-0 from Berkeley Zakay. And that's on the outside corner. It's 1-1 as we check that St. Joe defense. You've got Newton, Robleski, and Rudge in the outfield. Hamilton, you already saw come into play at second base. Schrock is having a good year at first, and then the Zakays making up the battery. Here comes the 1-1. And there was an attempt for the slap. It's 1-2.
Yeah, a little late again. I like how Zakay's throwing inside to the pitcher or to the battery as well against Robokowski. The first one on the line out, it was inside. They're a little late to that, getting into those. You talk about hitting the outside corner, hit the outside corner. Well, when you got velocity, you throw inside.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Just missed outside, 2-2. Gary Morris working behind the plate today. Drew Danik on the bases. Randy Robokowski playing right field today. Derek Hicks has had to jumble up his lineup a little bit because of an injury to Ella Chelminiak, his center fielder. 2-2 pitch. Another slap attempt is fouled away. It's still 2-2. Chelminiak in the game against Griffith on Saturday broke the finger in her gloved hand. And so she's out of the lineup today. And when the subs were announced, you could see the giant complex on that right hand, making sure that finger doesn't get bumped. 2-2 jammed her, but Robokowski fouls it off, and it's still 2-2.
Seen a lot of pitches so far. 6 pitches to the bat of Randy Robokowski here.
And Zakay didn't have to throw a lot of pitches in the first game of the season against Mishawaka. She got out of that perfect game throwing only 53. Here's a little pop-up into short right field, and Hamilton gets out there to make the grab. Not an easy play with that ball going away, but Hamilton was able to get out there on the short outfield grass and make the grab 2 away, and it brings up the powerful Michaela Collins, the senior catcher on this New Prairie team. Off to another fine start, batting .400 with a homer and 6 driven in. And she fouls that one off. It's 0-1. Collins tied for the career home run list with another Collins, her Aunt Leanne. They are both at 20, and Abby Robokowski right in the neighborhood at 19. But if she were to get a home run today, well, that would be a feat because Berkeley Zakay has never given up one in her prep career. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Good swing by Michaela on that one, just a little late on that rise ball.
It's a full repertoire of pitches that you're going to see from Berkeley Zakay, but when the rise is coming in there, it's consistently around 67, 68 miles an hour. She has hit 70 on some guns. The changeup got her down low for strike 3. Zakay caught Collins looking. 1, 2, 3 go the Cougars in the first. The state champs come to bat when we come back on 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Hometown Pharmacy. Let's go ahead and look at the batting order for Earl Keith's St. Joe Indians.
When you look at the Indians, leading off, Maddie Robleski going to St. Xavier, hitting .625 on the year. Botello, and then you got Zakay and Zakay, of course, and Zandor. Schrock off to a hot start, hitting .667 on the year. Rudge and Newton and Hamilton committed to do IUSB.
They'll have to go against the right-handed sophomore Ava Geyer. Geyer so far this season 3-0, has not given up on earned run shoot. She's only allowed 1 hit in 13 innings. Perhaps most impressive, she has faced 43 batters this year. She has struck out 29 of them and walked only 2. And last year she fell twice to the Indians, losing 4-0 and 2-0. She was 11-4 on the season last year with a 0.80 ERA and 8 shutouts. Now, Scher's not going to throw it as hard as Berkeley Zakay, but she can really spin it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things for this game is making sure Geyer really spins the ball up there, keeps the bats off balance just enough so her defense can make the plays.
And while we've got a moment, we'll check out that New Prairie defense and let you see how Derek Hicks has aligned his team today with that injury to Chell Miniak we talked about. Walt Strobucki and Randy Robakowski out in right field. Abby Robakowski mans the hot corner. Willoughby getting the start at second. Emma Luther at first. Very experienced battery with Michaela Collins behind the plate. Catching Ava Geyer as Maddie Robleski gets ready to lead things off. You mentioned hot starts. Robleski batting .625 for the season. No homers and a couple of runs batted in. She had 2 hits in their last game against Goshen. She takes that pitch outside for ball 1. As you see, Robleski, a left-handed hitter, and she's got some pretty good wheels. You'll meet her during the game as one of our Tony Letcher Health Market Student Athletes of the Week. On the corner for a strike, it's 1-1.
Geyer really is trying to work that outside corner early there. Just missed on that first one, brought it in just a little bit more to catch the corner.
You mentioned the speed of Zakay allows her to work inside a little bit more. I think you'll see Geyer is a little bit more of a nibbler against the St. Joe lineup.
Yeah, she's going to be like that crafty lefty that you see in the high school level pitching-wise. She's going to try to stay to the outside, let that ball run away, get some drop balls in there as well.
You're looking at the 2-1. And that one misses high. It's 3-1. Robleski with a long look down at head coach Earl Keith, but he didn't go through one sign. He's just shouting encouragement here, trusting his senior. One of 7 seniors on this St. Joe team. She takes it on the corner for a strike. It's 3-2. Third baseman Abby Robakowski playing in. And a little tap towards Abby. She fields cleanly and throws, and it goes awry. That'll be an error on New Prairie, a team that is known for its fielding at a .966 clip last year, but here they make a miscue.
Yeah, it looked like she fielded it clean, made the throw just a little off. First baseman might have stretched a little early and didn't have the proper angle there, but that's going to go down as an E5.
Now let's see if the Indians can manufacture here. Selena Botello tries to bunt, but it's foul, and it's 0-1. Botello, the shortstop, batting .500 on the year. No homers and an RBI. She was second on the team in runs scored a year ago when the senior batted .295. Robleski had 5 stolen bases last season, so she's got some speed. The bunt laid down, it's a beauty, right inside the line. Collins throws and it hits the runner in the back, and Robleski will go to third. Back-to-back errors by New Prairie have put runners on the corners for St. Joe here in the first. You'll get another look on the 46 replay.
That's one of those prime things. First off, it was one of those bunts where you're trying to make it look like it's going to go foul or not. But as a catcher, you have to call inside, outside on that one. In other words, come up, field the ball, step closer to the pitcher's mound, call inside, inside, inside. First baseman steps over a little bit, and then you have that throwing lane.
Instead, there was no angle to take, and she hit Botello in the back. And Riley Zakay, the Missouri commit, takes up high for ball 1.
One person you probably don't want to face right now with 2 people on is Riley Zakay.
She had 29 RBI for this team a year ago, has 4 already this season, batting .286 so far. She takes high and away, and it's 2-0. Zakay, an all-state selection last year. Decided on Missouri because, well, it felt like family down in Columbia. And on her spring break, she went down to see her future teammates. A swing and a miss there, as looked like Geyer might have taken something off of that one.
It looked like it was one of the, took a little off and kind of spun away from her. Looked in the same location as the last 2, just looked a little bit better.
2 balls and a strike. And she checked her swing, but did she go around? Not sure on the call from Gary Morris, the home plate umpire. It looks like it might be 3-1.
Looked like he had pointed to the bat, which normally means a strike, but he never raised his arm up.
Swing and a miss there. The runner goes from first, and Botello is in there. And the count full now on Riley Zakay. 2 in scoring position for St. Joe here in the first. Payoff pitch. Bounce to the shortstop, Harmon. She'll go to first, and Luther is able to make the catch, but it's an RBI for Riley Zakay, and St. Joe is on the board up 1-0. Zakay needed contact and got it here, Bo.
Yeah, it's just a great job of putting the ball in play. In this situation, all you want to do is get that ball in play on the ground somewhere to get that run in. That's your only job with that after you get to that 2-strike approach.
And now Berkeley Zakay takes up and in for ball 1. The sophomore pitcher batting .600 on the season with a homer. That came in the opener against Mishawaka, and 3 driven in. That's a strike at the knees, 1-1. And if you're wondering if Berkeley Zakay can help herself with the bat, well, she had the game-winning at bat in the state championship game, so I'd say she can.
Yeah, she can definitely swing it well. Hitting .600 on the year.
Here's the 1-1. It's on the corner for strike 1-2. St. Joe said one of its keys was to get on Geyer early. They've done that with 1 run already here in the first, and Zakay trying to plant another one. The 1-2 high and away.
And notice the little things with Geyer as well. Her balls tend to be a little bit farther away when it's called a ball. It's not just the ball in general, but when it's called a ball, they're not very close, so those are easy layoff pitches.
Meanwhile, Zakay with a drive into center, and it goes off the glove of Tabrookie and out to the wall. A run will score. Zakay will head to third. She goes in standing up. It's 2-0 St. Joe.
Just another miscue by New Prairie here early on in this inning. 3rd error of the inning.
And you'll get another look at it on the 46 Sports replay. Remember, the regular center fielder Chelminiak out with a broken finger. That one just off the glove. They may not score that an error. They may wind up scoring that extra bases. We'll see. Meanwhile, Morgan Sander is the batter, and the third baseman takes a ball. Sander batting .167 on the season. No homers, none driven in yet. She rifles one over the first baseman's head into right field. Zakay will score. 3-0 try. What a start for the St. Joe lineup as they jump on young Ava Geyer here in the first inning, taking advantage of some miscues by the New Prairie defense. But this is a nice piece of hitting here by Sandor, who went with the pitch as Derek Hicks will take a mound visit.
Yeah, that's just a great job of hitting by Sandor on that scenario there. Somebody on third base, you let the ball get deep, drive it to right field. She just did a great job. Here you can see a replay of it. Staying back, driving that barrel, staying on top. It was a high pitch, and she was able to get on top of it and stay on top of it for the line drive.
Derek Hicks trying to calm his team down. It's the first time they've trailed at all this season. They defeated LaVille in the season opener 16-3. Went up and beat Lakeshore, the Michigan state champs, a year ago in Division III, and beat them 1-0. And then handled Griffith on Saturday at their place in the home opener 16-0. But here they're already down 3-0. Kennedy Schrock stands in, and she takes outside for a ball. Schrock, the sophomore, batting .667, no homers and 3 RBI. Transfer from Fairfield, already has 3 doubles this season. She takes a strike on the corner there. It's 1-1. Schrock was the top scorer for Scott Francoeur's basketball team this year. In fact, she had 26 in the Tribe's win over Riley. Pops one up, foul behind home plate. Collins can't come up with it, though, and it's a strike.
Still just 1 out here in the first inning. Bottom of the first for St. Joe.
At least 2 errors in the inning for the Cougars, and perhaps 3 have led to this St. Joe uprising. There's one that's just a little bit inside, 2-2.
I think that was one of the Angel Hernandez one where you're lined up outside for the pitch, and then it goes inside, and you reach across, but it is still a strike.
There's a strike at the letters, and Geyer racks up her first strikeout of the day. 2 down, a runner at first for Aaron Rudge, the senior right fielder. Yet to have a hit here in 2023. She batted .272 a year ago. Right-handed stick takes it high, ball 1.
6 out of the 7 batters Ava's faced now. She started out with a 1-0 count. Getting behind the batters to start this first inning.
Pitching coaches will tell you there's no better pitch in the arsenal than strike 1. There's a called strike, and it's 1-1. Morgan Sander, the runner at first. She had an RBI single moments ago. Fouled out of play, 1-2. Beautiful complex here at the North Fields, St. Joseph. You've got Pajikowski baseball fields to our south, and then up at the northern part of the complex are the softball diamonds. The 1-2 pitch. Outside, she hit the target that Collins set up, but the target was off the plate.
It's one of those where you call it outside, way outside, and pitcher actually hits it out there.
Now, do you think she comes back in on the inside?
I think it's one of those things where you stay on the outside, take a little off of it.
That's what she tried to do, but instead it's 3-2.
Again, one of those pitches where he talked about just missing to the point where as soon as that ball is released, the batter knows it's not even close, and it's called a no-pressure pitch, where there's no pressure on the batter on that pitch.
Payoff, fouled, and Rudge stays alive at 3-2 with Maya Newton waiting on deck. Maddie Robleski reached on an error on the third baseman, Robakowski. Then Botello on an error by the catcher, Collins, and that one misses outside for ball 4. Just the third walk given up this season by Ava Geyer. So runners at first and second with 2 away from Maya Newton. The St. Joe left fielder batting .333, the senior with no homers and an RBI. Takes that one high for ball 1.
31st pitch for Geyer here in the first inning. Again, that first pitch, it's one of those high pitches that's not even a question that that's a ball or a strike. They know it's a ball.
There's a strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1. Newton is a big fan of the TV show Ted Lasso. She plays for the St. Joe version of Ted Lasso and Earl Keith, Mr. Positivity.
Mr. Positivity.
And it's 1-2.
Earl, the voice of St. Joe football, home games.
Done the PA there for 19 years now. The 1-2 from Geyer. Outside, and it's 2-2. I think Geyer wanted that one.
She was looking for that last pitch she just missed.
Let's see if she gets it here on 2-2. High and away, and the count goes full. With Savannah Hamilton waiting in the on-deck circle.
Trying to work that outside corner.
Of course, with 3-2 and 2 away, the runners will be off as quickly as possible. Payoff pitch. Ball 4 down low, and back-to-back walks have loaded the bases for the Indians. Here's Savannah Hamilton, the second baseman, still looking for her first hit of 2023. In 2022, she batted .258, drove in 15. She is a young lady committed to IUSB primarily for her pitching skills. as that one misses down low, ball one. A year ago, Hamilton, by any other standard, would be an ace of a staff. She was 9-1 with a 2.03 ERA. But on this team with Berkeley Zakay, she often has to play second fiddle to that. Here's a little pop-up on the infield. Back goes the second baseman Willoughby, and she makes the grab to end the inning. But a big inning for the St. Joe Indians. They pick up 3 runs on a couple of hits and 2 errors, leaving 3. And to 1, Tribe leads at 3-zip on 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you by Ivy Tech Community College in South Bend and Elkhart. Terrific facilities for the media here tonight as well. Here at the North Fields, Chuck and Bo with you. Angelo DiCarlo will join us next week as we have boys lacrosse for you next week. And then we go back to the softball diamonds in Mishawaka. We'll have some baseball for you as you take a look at this smorgasbord that we've put together for the spring athletes this year.
I think it's a great spring schedule. It's a chance to give the spring sport athletes that don't play a fall or winter sport the opportunity to be on Channel 46. And we've had nothing but excitement from the community when you had the bright idea of doing this. And I agree with you.
Well, I got to tell you, the bright idea came from our president, Drew Summerall, who said, you know, people love the stuff that we put on in the fall and the winter. Well, why would we stop? So he said, put together something. And I said, I always like those Kellogg's variety packs at the store, so why not serve one up for our viewers as well? As Berkeley Zakay starts off the second inning with the ball down low, pitching to her counterpart, Ava Geyer. Geyer, the New Prairie pitcher, is also a very good hitter, batting .500 this season. No homers and 3 driven in. The 1-0 from Zakay, swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. So tough to face Zakay on the circle because she comes at you with that great speed, and then all of a sudden she'll flutter a changeup in there, and you look like the Bugs Bunny cartoon. That one misses low and in, and it's 2-1.
That was a good pitch there. That's one of those tough pitches to hit, too, down and in like that, especially at the speed that she's bringing it. And with her height and length as well, by the time she gets off that rubber, it's like she's right on top of you.
The 6'1 sophomore has that pitch fouled away and out of play, and it's 2-2. Berkeley's got a lot of colleges looking at her. Has not made any kind of decision yet, nor does she need to be in any hurry because, well, she's only 15 years old. If you don't have your driver's license, you shouldn't worry about what college you're going to, and if you throw like that, you're not going to have to. Called strike 3. Second strikeout called looking for Zakay so far tonight, and here's Emma Luther, the first baseman. Luther is off to a great start. .571 average so far for the junior. 2 homers and 2 driven in. She had 2 homers all of last season, so to have 2 in the first 3 games shows some remarkable progress. The 1-0 from Zakay. Swing and a miss at the fastball. It's 1-1. And you may wonder, well, why does she wear 54? Well, that number has some family heritage. Right around St. Joe. I believe that was the number for her father, Dan, when he played football at St. Joe. I could be mistaken on that. 1 and 2. It's been a while. 28 years since that 1995 St. Joe State Championship team. Here's the 1-2 from Zakay. Inside corner, she stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by, and that's 3 straight strikeouts for Berkeley Zakay.
Again, there's that inside low strike right there, right at the knees. That's such a tough pitch to throw and hit at the same time, and when you can master that pitch, look at that. That's such a tough pitch.
Here's Mackenzie Waltz, the left fielder. The sophomore batting .143 on the year, checked her swing and did not go around. It's 1-0. Waltz Also a member of the swim team at New Prairie. Played in 13 varsity games last year. Here's your 1-0. Foul tip into the mid of Riley Zakay. It's 1-1. And for Berkeley Zakay, it has to be extremely comforting to have your sister back there as the catcher because, well, as Riley Zakay will tell you, she's been forced to catch her for a long, long time, and so it's just like playing catch back there in the backyard.
Yeah, just being a year apart in grade, and I think that's one of the biggest things is, too, you know, growing up sisters, you play catch with each other, and lo and behold, Riley becoming a catcher, so it all kind of worked out for him.
After a conversation with Derek Hicks, perhaps to just try to disrupt the rhythm of Zakay, we're ready for the 1-1. Swing and a miss on an inside fastball, and it's 1-2. And you're right, if she can keep the location of that pitch right there, this
They're
one
not
might be
touching it.
quick.
No, they're not touching that.
Here comes the 1-2 to Waltz. 3 straight strikeouts in the inning for Berkeley Zakay. 4 in a row through the New Prairie order. 3-0 St. Joe after 1.5 on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Martin Supermarkets. Count on us for all your grocery needs and so much more. We hope the weather next week is as glorious as it is on this April evening because we've got boys lacrosse for you from Venerable School Field. The Penn Kingsmen take on the Class 1A state champion from a year ago, the South Bend Bears. Bears primarily made up of Adams students, but they've also got some Riley and other city schools in there. We'll show some boys lacrosse to you Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9 on your home for high school sports, TV 46. St. Joe batted around in the first, so the leadoff hitter, Maddie Robleski, starts off the second as well and takes that pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. Robleski reached on an error on the third baseman, Abby Robakowski, then came around to score back in the first inning. You saw that boys lacrosse game listed. Congratulations to Kevin Corrigan and the Notre Dame boys lacrosse team, men's lacrosse team, as that ball drops foul. It's a foul ball according to plate umpire Gary Morris, so Robleski will have to go back.
Yeah, great hustle by the left fielder there.
Waltz came running in to try to make the grab on this.
Just off her forearm right there. Just dove a little bit too far. You can see the ball isn't fair, but she hit it in foul territory.
Yes. And once it was contacted in foul territory, it remains foul. So 0-2 to Robleski. But we mentioned the Notre Dame men's lacrosse team ranked #1 after beating Duke last weekend. Here's a little pop into the short left field, and the shortstop Harmon comes running over to make the catch in foul territory. 1 away. Harmon was somebody that really impressed Derek Hicks with the glove early on this season, and he feels very comfortable putting her into the shortstop role. She showed good range on that play.
That was great range right there. I think she might have been shading that way just a little bit because the last ball was just over there, but that was just good common sense to make sure you get in the position to make a play over there, down the line.
Botello, who laid down a sacrifice for last time up and reached on an error on the catcher Collins, takes a strike on the corner. Botello, with good speed, batted .295 last season, was second on the team in runs scored, but she pops this one up, and Harmon doesn't have to run nearly as far to make this grab. There's 2 away. This is more the defense that Derek Hicks expected to see from his team tonight.
Well, and Geyer has thrown 5 pitches, all 5 strikes this inning. So I think that's one of the biggest things there as well. I know there was some booting around in that first inning with some of the 3 errors that they had, but I think the biggest thing is throwing those strikes, getting ahead early.
Riley Zakay fouls that one straight back. You see the numbers on Riley this year. What you don't see is the fact that she is just really a catalyst on this team. She holds the school single season marks for home runs, hits, doubles, and runs scored. And she takes that one low, 1-1.
Not too shabby.
And it's not as though St. Joe hasn't had success. I mean, Earl Keith has won 10 sectionals and 9 regionals in his time with the Indians, so he's had some talent come through here. This one pop fouled out of play. It's 1-2. We mentioned Riley going to go to Missouri. She wants to be an orthopedic surgeon someday. So do I, but
so
I'm not skilled.
So basically saying she wants a job where she doesn't make a lot of money.
No. Here comes the 1-2 from Ava Geyer. And one misses high and away with the change, and it's 2-2.
Trying to get Riley out on her front foot. Lunging for that pitch. She kept her weight back properly.
Here comes the 2-2. Fouled out of play again, and we'll do it all over at 2-2. St. Joe scored 3 in the bottom of the first, and that's where we stand right now, 3-0. The Indians defeated Mishawaka in the opener of the season, 11-0, then defeated the Goshen Redhawks 5-1. They were off all of last week for spring break. 2-2 misses high, 3-2. So Earl Keith was a little bit concerned about some possible rust from his team coming in, but that has not been the case.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. Spring sports kind of get a bad rap on the spring break issue because it's right at the start of the season. Everybody's like, oh, we didn't take a break. We've been in school all year. But it's part of their season. They gotta deal with it. Every school does.
3 straight pop-outs by the St. Joe Indians, and the second 3-0 St. Joe after 2 on 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Purdue University Northwest College of Nursing. Not a cloud to be found in the Indiana sky on this April evening as St. Joe has a 3-0 lead over New Prairie. Everybody waiting for Berkeley Zakay, who was standing in the on-deck circle, to come out to the mound. And I keep calling it the mound. It's the circle in softball.
Yeah, well, and Riley was batting, made the last out, trying to get her gear on.
So a reminder that we've got professional soccer on TV 46. This is the second of 17 soccer games we'll have for you this spring and summer as the Indy 11 play host to Monterey. That'll be on Saturday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. Greg Rakestraw on the call from the IUPUI campus. Indy 11 looked very impressive last Saturday, defeating Oakland, and hopefully you'll enjoy seeing their broadcast here on TV 46.
The Martin Supermarket's Groceries to Go annual subscriptions are now available. They're just $29.99 for the year. You get ad pricing, digital coupons, recipes directly from your account. Learn more at martinsgroceriestogo.com.
Zakay has been perfect through 2 so far, striking out the last 4 batters, and now Maya DeBroke will try her hand. She has the start in center field today. This will be her first at bat of the season. Bunt is popped to the backstop. And you can't blame her for trying to bunt, because trying to hit against these K-Queens, not easy to do. Ava Geyer was 4th in the state in strikeouts. Berkeley Zakay was 8th. And you see right up there at the top, Keegan Rothrock of Roncalli. And she's the big reason why they're ranked number 1 in 4A. Another bunt fouled back. It's 0-2.
Zakay with 4 strikeouts to add to that list, 4 in a row to be precise here tonight. Geyer with just 1 on the evening.
And the 0-2 from Zakay. Missing down low, it's 1-2. DeBrook last year only played in 7 varsity games, but she made the most of her chances. She batted .429, and she actually had a hit against Zakay in the sectional. Here's the 1-2. Strike 3 called on the inside corner, and that is 5 straight strikeouts for Berkeley Zakay. Here's another look at this one, and Bo, she is working over the inside corner tonight.
Man, she is hitting that spot right on the inside corner. I mean, that's just a tough pitch to hit. She's just consistently hitting that spot. And I like how Riley sets up right there as well and holds that spot as well for her.
Michaela Willoughby, the second baseman, standing in, swinging a miss. And you bring up a good point there, because Riley Zakay, I think, blocks and frames pitches exceptionally well. And the framing on that pitch really made it easy for Gary Morris to call strike.
Well, when you have a battery with the pitcher and the catcher that are in sync with each other, you know how that ball's going to move. And so they know how to frame that a lot easier. And it's so much easier to catch somebody that you've caught numerous and numerous times over the years, because you know how the ball's going to be moving. You know what they're thinking. You know where you're going to call it. And all the pitches.
By the way, that was the changeup from Zakay. Yeah. And that got the Bugs Bunny effect. It's 0-2. Let's see if she comes back with the pure heat right here. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Willoughby goes down on 3 pitches. 6 consecutive strikeouts for Berkeley Zakay, and we bring up the designated hitter, Emily Mrazinski.
Now batting number 15.
The junior outfielder has not had a hit so far this season. Last year, she batted just 107 games. Left-handed stick working against the righty Zakay, fouls it away. 0-1. And here's the thing. Derek Hicks was hopeful that the game against Lakeshore, when they faced a pitcher like Ava Mullen, a power pitcher, would give them the kind of look that they needed before they faced Zakay. But let's face it, when you're facing somebody who throws as hard as she does, we mentioned she's consistently 67, 68, but she'll hit 70 on the gun. Let's put that in perspective for people that aren't familiar with softball. 70 in softball is the equivalent of a baseball pitcher throwing 101. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these at-bats from the New Prairie hitters that wind up empty. 7 consecutive strikeouts for Berkeley Zakay. We played 2.5 in South Bend, 3-0 St. Joe. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. If we had more nights like this, Bill's Heating wouldn't have a whole lot to worry about, because it is picture perfect in South Bend tonight. And picture perfect has been the story of Berkeley Zakay as well.
Oh, man, she's been fantastic, just working that inside corner, and then you see her finally starting to even work that changeup. And that was one of the biggest things of that last one. 2 of those strikeouts came on changeup. She just did a great job of really working the inside and then working her other pitches in.
And that's your Bill's Heating sideline report, courtesy of Mr. Hunt, who's been used to giving us those for, we'll say the last 17 years or so.
17. Wow.
Berkeley Zakay takes a strike at the knees from Ava Geyer. It's 0-1.
That means you're pretty old then, right?
And getting older by the day, my friend. Especially when you look out and you see sophomores like Geyer and Zakay battling out there. There's the changeup. Geyer says, "Oh, you want to show your changeup? I'll show you mine too." 0-2. Now the question is, do you show it one more time?
Come with that little rise ball.
She tried. It's 1-2. Berkeley Zakay, an outstanding swimmer in her younger days. She still holds some Irish Aquatics 8-and-under records. Takes that one high, 2-2. She and Riley were on some relay teams together. Not that the Zakays are competitive or anything like that. Geyer ready for the 2-2. Here it is. Swing and a miss, strike 3. She got her on a fastball upstairs. Just the second strikeout of the day for Ava Geyer, but one that puts a smile on that face as she gets her counterpart. Here's Morgan Sandor, who had an RBI single her first time up, and it looks like Derek Hicks is going to make a defensive switch in the outfield as he comes in to have a chat with the home plate umpire, Gary Morris.
Second baseman came out.
Well, it's going to be the the right fielder, Robakowski, is going to move to second base. Willoughby is taken out. So we'll see if we can pick up what the change is out in right field. Meanwhile, Geyer pitching to Sander, and Sander takes high for ball one. Morgan from a softball family. Her sister Lauren, a pitcher at the College of Charleston. Morgan's going to boil her up and attend Purdue studying business. Takes that one high and away. It's 2-0. Good contact hitter, as you saw her first time up. Line drive into left field. That's going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Sander rounds first and heads for second with a double. Great diving effort by Waltz out there in left field, but McKenzie just couldn't quite come up with that one. You'll get another look on the 46 replay.
Yeah, just a great job. Staying back on the ball again, her second hit of the day. Just a great job driving the gap. And Waltz, man, I thought Waltz was going to track that down. She almost came up with that.
She got a great break on the ball, but couldn't quite get to it. So a runner on second with one out. And it brings up Kennedy Schrock, the first baseman who struck out looking her first time up. Schrock familiar with at least one of the members of this New Prairie team. She just popped it out into short right field, and Robakowski goes out to make the grab. There's two away. Kennedy didn't get a chance to say hi to her summer teammate Emma Luther as she went by. So Maddie Gilpin has come into the game to play right field. And with two away and a runner on second, here's Aaron Rudge, the St. Joe right fielder. Rudge takes one down the middle there for a strike. She got a rare walk her last time up. Played an errorless outfield last season for the Indians. The 0-1 is a strike on the outside corner, and it's 0-2. No balls, two strikes as you peer in from behind home plate, and now from center. Strike three called on the outside corner, and Geyer works out of trouble in the third. After three, still 3-0 St. Joe. This edition of the 46th Game of the Week being brought to you by the City of South Bend Golf. Enjoy a 9 at Studebaker or 18 at Elbel or Erskine. The St. Joseph Indians won the state title in Class 3A a year ago, one of only 5 teams from Michiana who have won state softball championships, at least on this side of the state line. Of course, Erin Koffel and Bremen winning it back in 2019. She's having a terrific career down at the University of Kentucky.
On ESPN the other day for a diving catch up the middle.
Abby Robakowski leads off the fourth for New Prairie, fouls one back over our heads and out of play. Robakowski lined out to the second baseman, Savannah Hamilton, her first time up, and really the best contact of anybody from New Prairie tonight. Not that there's been a lot of contact because Zakay has fanned her last 7 bats.
Yeah, was line out and then F4, a little pop up to second baseman, and then KKKK after.
And the 0-1 fouled out of play. It's 0-2. Abby Robakowski came into the game batting .750 for the year. She batted .451 last season, was third team All-State, and has 19 career homers. The 0-2 skips away, and it's 1-2. A ball and 2 strikes on the New Prairie third baseman. 2 doubles and a triple so far this year. She got a piece of that one to stay alive. It's still 1-2. Robakowski had 4 hit games last season against LaPorte and Marion, including a home run in the Cougars' win over the Knights. Zakay for the 1-2. Little line drive into right field, and it's caught out there by Rudge. So again, the best contact coming off the bat of Abby Robakowski, but Berkeley Zakay getting some support from her defense here.
Yeah, great job of Robakowski just driving that ball, staying back on it. Made really good contact. First best contact we've seen all night for sure. First at bat and there.
Now we'll see what her sister Randy can do. She popped out to the second baseman her first time up. And she tried to get a running start on a slap there, but fouled it to the backstop. It's 0-1. We mentioned off the start, it's a New Prairie team that's really built for power. But if you look at Derek Hicks over the years, he has played a lot of small ball on his teams that have advanced to win the Senior League Softball World Series. And then we're not talking about senior citizens, but Senior League and Little League. Generally the 14 and 15-year-olds.
Yeah, you know, getting some kind of information. And I heard that that's his style, just absolutely his style. And one of the things last year when they were playing St. Joe in the playoffs and got beat by them was they didn't attempt any bunt. And one of the things was, well, this team's got a lot of power, and frankly, they're just not the best at bunting either.
And you got to play to the strengths of your team.
And so, I mean, credit and kudos to him, playing to the strengths of your teams and understanding your team. And when you talk about baseball or softball guys, they're so superstitious and so set in their ways about certain things and how to play the game. And when somebody is a small ball, lay it down, lay it down, lay it down. And they have the willingness to adjust to the game and to your players. That just means that that coach understands the game.
And it's one of the reasons Derek has had success at New Prairie, 76-39. The problem for them has been the sectionals they've been in has always been with St. Joe. Now with St. Joe going up to 4A, Derek is hopeful that this team can make a very solid tournament run in Class 3A. The 2-2 to Randy Robakowski. Taken outside, and the count goes full. New Prairie trying to get its first base runner of the game here in the 4th. The payoff pitch from Berkeley Zakay is on its way. Grounded through the hole into left field for a base hit. So the first base runner of the game, the first hit of the game given up by Berkeley Zakay in 2023. And you'll get another look from 46 Sports. She got it up and right at eye level. And
right there.
Robakowski was able to slap it into left. And it brings up Michaela Collins, who has the kind of power to make this game interesting if she gets a hold of one. She'll take inside for ball 1. Collins went down looking her first time up. Robakowski on first. Down 3-0, probably not trying anything on the bases here. That one is a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. You take a look at the numbers that New Prairie's Michaela Collins put up last year. Well, those are the numbers for Riley Zakay. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, it's 1-2. As we look at the numbers for New Prairie's Michaela Collins, she was ranked 6th in the state last season in home runs that were hit by a junior. She'd love to put a charge into one here and get the Cougars back within 1. Fouls it off to stay alive. It's still 1-2.
Kayla starting to get that tightened up just a little bit there.
Derek Hicks making a point about the way she was holding her bat. Maybe one of the reasons that she's just a little bit getting jammed up here. We'll see if she can make an adjustment here against Zakay. She Took one low, and it's 2-2.
Michaela's going to be looking dead red right here. Something right down the middle. Good time for a changeup right here.
Think so? I think Zakay may try to come back to that inside corner, but with a little more heat than she just threw. Here's the 2-2. She went outside corner for strike 3. Throw back to first, but Robakowski is safe. And Collins goes down looking for the second time today.
Just a great job of painting the outside corner, but again, Riley, just a great frame. You can see this. Just pulling that in, getting rid of it.
So with 2 down, it's up to Ava Geyer to try to keep the inning alive for the Cougars. Geyer struck out looking her first time up as well. The 2 best sophomore pitchers in the area going head to head, and Geyer takes that one outside for ball 1. Derek Hicks wants to have a chat with his hitter.
They might have try to get the runner in scoring position somehow. They need to get 1 run back here, chip away at that lead a little bit.
It's funny, I asked Derek earlier this weekend, I said, is St. Joe a team you can run a lot against? He goes, frankly, we don't know. We haven't had enough base runners to find out. But with the arm that Riley Zakay has behind the plate and how quickly that ball gets to the plate, I cannot imagine it's easy to run on the Tribe.
It's not, you know, like baseball where you can take off at any time.
Right.
Softball, you got to wait for that pitcher to release that ball.
That one goes to the backstop, though, and a wild pitch will put a runner in scoring position. You get another look on the 46 replay. Two and 1 the count now on Geyer. She fouls it straight back. So again, they're starting to time it up a little bit, but timing it with foul balls and actually putting it into play with something on it, 2 different things.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is you're getting that timing down, but you know, Berkeley's one of those pitchers where she can start changing speeds and throwing the type of pitches. She's been throwing about 80% fastballs right now at this point and just letting the big dog eat right now.
2-2 to Geyer. She tried the change but missed upstairs, and it's full at 3-2. Emma Luther waits on deck. She has home run power. Can Geyer find a way to get on base? The payoff. Popped it up behind home plate. Riley Zakay can't come up with it. And everybody's safe. Then St. Joe throws it away. Robakowski gets up. She'll score 3-1. So a pair of errors on the play give New Prairie a run, and that snaps a scoreless streak of 60 2/3 innings for Berkeley Zakay.
So 2 things on that play, on that pop-up. You talk about that play. Is that the catcher? Is that the pitcher? And usually in the pros, when you're talking about baseball or something like that, it's the pitcher. They don't want any part of that. Most of the time, the pitchers are the most athletic ones in this situation, so they need to kind of take over that. And if the catcher's going to take it, they need to turn their back to the infield. That ball's going to always carry away, and I think that's one of the biggest things on that last play.
So number 21, Kerrigan Evans, has come in as the courtesy runner for Geyer at second base. Meanwhile, Emma Luther, a swing and a miss. And Luther with an opportunity as she stands in the box to be the tying run in the game.
Yeah, 2 home runs already this year for Luther.
She went down looking her first time up. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Evans, the runner at second, trying to encourage her teammate. Here's the 0-2. Strike three. She got her with 3 straight heaters to get out of trouble. But New Prairie gets on the board, a run, a hit, 2 errors, 1 left. Halfway home on the north side of South Bend, 3-1 St. Joe. And this edition of the 46th Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Reliance. Design, build, and renovate. Part of the problem, that clear sky. I don't think the athletes are used to it here, having to look up in the sun at some of these pop-ups.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things. You know, we haven't had this warmer weather either until, you know, about Friday or Saturday of last week, and each day it's going to slowly progress. And then, of course, Monday we'll get back to reality and get down to our 50s.
Enjoy it while we can. Maya Newton takes a change up on the outside corner for a strike. Newton reached on a walk her first time up. The versatile defender for this St. Joe team playing left field today. She's really been working on eliminating the arm movement in her swing. Nice compact stroke there, but she popped it up, and Harmon, the shortstop, makes the 2-hand grab. 1 down to bring up Savannah Hamilton.
Now batting number 18, Savannah Hamilton.
Hamilton, the second baseman, tested defensively back in the first inning, made a couple of grabs. She popped out to the second baseman her first time up and takes 1 high. The game of softball moves so quickly, a walk-up song becomes more like Name That Tune.
I can name that tune in 3 notes, Chuck.
1-1 the count. I mean, you get about 4 or 5 notes out, and that's it. You're in the box. Places to go, things to do. Swinging a little tap back to Geyer at the mound, and she'll throw out Hamilton. 2 away. Brings up Maddie Robleski.
Number 3, Maddie Robleski.
You will meet her momentarily in our Student Athlete of the Week feature. Maddie officially 0 for 2 today, but she scored the first run of the game after reaching on an error back in the first. Then she fouled out to the shortstop, Harmon, back in the second. Geyer has settled down since that first inning, allowing just 1 hit. The double by Sander back in the third. Another changeup misses outside. It's 1-1. St. Joe scored 3 runs on 2 hits and 2 errors back in the first inning to take command of this one. 1-1 fouled straight back. It's 1-2.
And it all started with Maddie putting the ball in play, putting the pressure on the defense from that first get-go. Little dribbler over to third base and got on and got that first run across the board.
Geyer ready for the 1-2. Another foul off the end of the bat for Robleski. Robleski committed to play at St. Xavier University in Chicago. Member of the Chicagoland Athletic Conference, they frequently play teams like Holy Cross. Did not pull the trigger on the pitch that missed outside. It's 2-2. St. Joe trying to go to 3-0 on the year. Popped up into center field. Dobrocki comes over and makes the grab, and 1-2-3 go the Indians in the fourth. Our student athletes are next on 46. To meet our Tony Letcher Health Markets Student Athletes of the Week, a feature brought to us by our friend Tony Letcher with Health Markets. 2 terrific representatives of these softball teams today. Michaela Collins from New Prairie, Maddie Robleski from St. Joseph. We always start with the visitors first, and Michaela getting the job done in the classroom as well as on the field with a 3.6 GPA. How do you balance the time that is necessary to play at the level that you play at with softball and your academics?
It's really just being able to communicate with your teachers and being able to understand that you have your school priorities over your sports. You need to be able to get the work done and time manage everything and still be able to put the work in on the field.
You're a senior on a team that's laden with sophomores, so obviously you have to have a leadership role on this team. Does that come naturally to you, or is it something that you've had to adjust to?
I had to adjust to it in the very beginning, but I joined travel teams where I was the leader, so it became easier throughout the years. And at this point, I think it is all natural to me at this point, just being able to, especially being a catcher, you gotta like lead the field and everything.
You're not just a softball player, you do tons of other things. What are some of the other activities that you do, and what do they mean to you?
I'm in National Honor Society, so I do community service and I do things for around the school. For example, like we did a Santa's workshop for little kids at our school. And I also help out Troop 664 for Boy Scouts out of New Carlisle, Indiana. And I help with them all the time, anytime they needed anything.
This is your final season at New Prairie. You're going to graduate and go to college. What are your plans for your future?
I'm attending Wabash Valley College in Southern Illinois for 2 years, and then I'm going to transfer somewhere else and play softball. After that, my plan is to actually come back to New Prairie and possibly help coach and at some point hopefully become like an assistant athletic director or secretary for New Prairie.
Catchers make great coaches. I'm sure you'll be a good one. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's Michaela Collins of New Prairie. Over here we've got Maddie Robleski, the fine center fielder for the St. Joe Indians, also a member of the cheerleading team at St. Joseph, and another terrific academic student. So 2 things to have to balance out with the academics. How do you budget your time?
Honestly, it's really just our great staff. They help you a lot with schoolwork, and being in NHS, which is one of the other activities I'm in, we tutor other kids, so just balancing grades and being able to be a leader in school, on the field, and on the football field is really great.
Well, you mentioned all these different activities, but obviously on this team, you're one of a core group of seniors, unlike Michaela, who's one of the few seniors on her squad. Tell me about this core group that you have and what makes your bond so good.
So a lot of us have either played against each other or played with each other for a long time, or even in grade school, we played against each other. And so like having that relationship with each other has just made the chemistry on the team really well.
You're involved in Right to Life and March for Life at St. Joe, and I know your faith is obviously very important to you. What makes it that way?
Being raised really by my parents and surrounding private Catholic schools, it just really kind of has been built into me, and a lot of the great theology teachers at St. Joe really help with that.
And then what happens for you once you graduate from St. Joe?
I'm planning to go play softball at St. Xavier in Chicago, and I'm going to study nursing.
You'll be terrific at that, I'm sure. That's Maddie Robleski from St. Joe. Michaela Collins from New Prairie. Our Tony Letcher Health Markets Student Athletes of the Week. Feature brought to us by our friend Tony Letcher with Health Markets. Stick around. There's more action to come on the 46 Game of the Week. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Basney Honda. Welcome inside the Martin Supermarket broadcast booth. The first popcorn popped at the North Fields this year has come up to the booth. And so far, plenty of reason to be entertained by this one, 3-1 St. Joe.
We were here for a reason. 2 quality teams. We knew the pitching was going to be great. St. Joe was able to put pressure on New Prairie early in that first inning and kind of fold a little bit, but it's settled down since then. 3-1 ball game. What a great game we have so far.
Berkeley Zakay has been impressive as usual in the circle. And she gets a swing and a miss from Mackenzie Waltz there. Waltz struck out her first time up. Zakay has 9 strikeouts on the day. A bunt is popped over the backstop and out of play, 0-2. And you mentioned earlier that this might not be the best bunting team that Derek Hicks has, and it has shown, although, I mean, let's face it, it's difficult to make any kind of controlled contact against a pitcher like this.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things when you're talking about making good quality contact, especially when you got a changeup like that as well.
So 10 strikeouts on the day. It's Berkeley's KKKKKKKKK. And she just keeps racking them up, but There's the changeup painting the outside corner. One down, and here's Maya DeBrookie, who went down looking her first time up. Takes the fastball high. Both these teams have plenty of challenges to look forward to as the season goes along. We are very early in the campaign. Here's a ground ball to the third baseman, gobbled up by Sandor, and she throws low, but a good pick over there by Kennedy Schrock to make it 2 away. You talked earlier about the footwork of the first baseman for New Prairie maybe leading to an error. Here's a fine play by Schrock over at first to dig out this throw from Sandor.
Yeah, just a great job of really digging that ball out. You know, they don't get a lot of ground balls, and not a lot of girls pull the ball on Zakay, so, and of course, only 4 balls have been put into play besides that one.
Michaela Willoughby now at the plate. She couldn't hold up on the fastball up high. It's 0-1. And, you know, that's part of the problem. You got Zakay, who is 6'1". By the time she takes her stride, she's standing there at the front of the circle, and you've got to make up your mind pretty quick whether you're swinging or not. Here's the 0-1 to the lefty. Down the middle for a strike. It's 0-2. Zakay keen that St. Joe run through the state tournament last year and the state championship win over Tri-West Hendricks. Strike 3. She got her swinging. 11 strikeouts now for Berkeley Zakay. We head to the bottom of the 5th. St. Joe trying to add to a 3-1 lead on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Warren Golf Course at the University of Notre Dame, the home of a U.S. Senior Open. And the crystal clear skies overhead at the North Fields on this April night. We can only hope the weather is so good as we progress through the season. We've got lacrosse for you next week from School Field. Then we return to the softball diamond with 2 of the better teams in the Northern Lakes Conference, Northridge and Mishawaka going head-to-head. Marion and Penn, big baseball game coming up May 6th on TV 46. Some girls soccer up in Michigan. I know that St. Joe, Michigan team off to a great start on the pitch. I'm really looking forward to seeing the track athletes in the sectional and the regional.
A lot of people we can highlight in that sectional, girls and boys.
Ground ball into left field and a base hit off the bat of Selena Botello as she strikes it hard off Ava Geyer here in the 5th.
Now batting number 8, Prairie.
Just past the outstretched glove of Robakowski at third. Leadoff single for St. Joe, just the second time in 5 innings they've had the leadoff person aboard. And here's Riley Zakay, the catcher. Swing and a miss, so she was thinking of taking that one deep. No balls in the strike on Zakay. St. Joe catcher takes one up and in, and it's 1-1. Earl Keith uses the term goofy in a kind way when talking about the Zakay girls. And, you know, he says that they very much have a lighthearted attitude as that bunt goes foul. It's 1-2. But that probably helps them balance things because they are very committed to softball. The whole family has been. The Zakays have been part of the softball picture in Michiana for a long time.
Yeah.
They had 2 aunts that were star pitchers at Brandywine.
Brandywine, yep.
1-2 taken high, 2-2, and the throw down a little bit late. But the ability to know the game, take the game seriously, but not really take themselves seriously.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the new age thing. We were talking about that before the game a little bit, and I think
3-2.
One of the things with St. Joe is they don't take it too seriously before the game either. You know, Earl was over there and they were taking some warm-up stuff and all the girls were kind of laughing. But they were getting the work done, but they were having a good time doing it. And yet every girl that was in the drill was focused. Every girl that was outside was, you know, having a little fun and a little lighthearted, but yet they were still getting the work done. I think that's kind of the new age kind of things. You still want to focus and you want to be kind of that hardcore, we got to do it this way, but yet you got to give a little leeway nowadays too.
Sure. Payoff pitch from Geyer. Swinging a bouncer to the shortstop, Harmon. She'll flip to second for one. The relay to first not in time. So fielder's choice for Riley Zakay puts her at first with one away for her sister Berkeley, who doubled and scored back in the first and then struck out swinging in the third. Berkeley came into the game batting .600 for the season. Hits one high and fouled on the third base side. It goes out of play.
Turned on that ball just a little bit.
Got a good crowd here at the North Fields tonight. Of course, the weather conducive to coming out and watching the sport.
I think a lot of people knew this was going to be a good game. A lot of conference implications with this game as well. Nice first full day of the baseball season after a break. People used to be in Florida. They're like, yeah, we'll go out and watch baseball and some softball. Baseball games going on behind us.
The 1-1 fouled out of play.
Great complex up here.
And I believe they're saying they're out of softballs right now. So they're trying to get these foul balls back that have been sprayed around the area.
Did some of our crew keep them as souvenirs?
Haven't seen any hit the truck yet, but there's always hope. The 1-2. Way outside, 2-2. Riley Zakay, the runner over at first base, got a long look from her fellow position player Collins there, the catcher for New Prairie. Here's the 2-2 inside, and the count goes full. Geyer has had to throw a lot of pitches. She threw 37 in the first. Up over 80 pitches now for the game. Here's the payoff. Strike three called on the inside corner. Riley Zakay, it's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Beautiful throw by Michaela Collins, and you see her fired up as she comes out from behind home plate. You'll get another look on the 46 Sports replay at the double play that ends the inning. We go to the sixth. 3-1 St. Joe. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known and locally owned.
Martin Supermarket's Groceries to Go annual subscriptions are now available. They're just $29.99 for the year. You get ad pricing, digital coupon recipes directly from your account. Learn more at martinsgroceriestogo.com.
Berkeley Zakay tossing a one-hitter through 5. She has fanned 11, and yet this is a very pivotal inning in this softball game where St. Joe leads at 3-1 because New Prairie has the 9-1 and 2 hitters due up. And if anybody can get on base, then Michaela Collins, the catcher, would represent the tying run at the plate.
Now batting number 15, Emily Brzezinski.
Emily Brzezinski will lead things off. She struck out swinging her first time up. Zakay was perfect through the first 10 batters of the game. A Randy Robakowski in the single in the fourth broke that up. As Brzezinski takes a strike on the inside corner, it's 0-1. Emily, the DH today for Derek Hicks' squad. Takes that one a little bit low, and the count evens at 1-1. The third baseman, Sander, has been playing about a quarter of the way down the line, as has the first baseman, Schrock. Little tap back to the ring. Zakay quickly over the first. There's one away. A lot of pitchers will take their time with that And sometimes by taking their time, they get themselves into trouble. That was good footwork.
One of the things we always talk about is step and throw. Always step and throw. Don't try to get underneath of it and make a sidearm throw or hurry it. Field it, step and throw. Field it, step and throw. I mean, step towards the first base.
Abby Robakowski has had the best contact against Zakay today with 2 lineouts, one to second base, one to right field. She takes a ball outside there. We'll see if she can finally parlay good contact into a base hit here. The 1-0 delivery. That one's hit high in the air to left field. Newton is under it and makes the 2-hand grab.
Randy got a hold of that one a little bit.
Abby just a little bit too much under it. If she squares this up, it's going to go a long way. As it was, it had Newton somewhat staggering out there as much as that ball hung up in the air. Now here's Randy Robakowski, who got the single her last time up and scored the Cougars' only run. Takes a change up on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Derek Hicks shouting encouragement from that third base coach's box. Got some really good softball coaches in the Northern Indiana Conference. And of course, Penn won the NIC a year ago. Beth Zachary has another good squad. They split a doubleheader with a strong Munster team last weekend. 0-2 the count on Randy Robakowski, playing second base after starting the game in right field. Now the 0-2. Swing and a miss. The drop third strike, though, and Robakowski runs down to first safely. So a strikeout. And what looked to be a pass ball. We'll see.
Yeah, it's one of those where that's a tough one. It's right at the dirt. It's got a lot of spin on that ball as well. Still one of those where you kind of go down to try to block, but you just got to come up with that.
So maybe a wild pitch. We'll see if we can take another look at it a little bit later on. But in the meantime, Michaela Collins representing the tying run at the plate. And she takes the first pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. Collins has gone down looking twice today. Here's the replay of the drop third strike that allowed Robakowski to get on, and it was down in the dirt, so that's a wild pitch. Second wild pitch of the day for Berkeley Zakay. The 0-1. Hit on the ground to the shortstop. Botello steps on second for the force, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left. To the bottom of the sixth we go. 3-1 St. Joe on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week sponsored in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for over 30 years.
This game's health tip is brought to you by HealthLink. There's no better way to make sure your athlete is ready to play than with the sports physical. Call HealthLink and schedule an appointment today. HealthLink offers medical, dental, vision, and more.
Great to have HealthLink on board with our spring package. 7 weeks of the Game of the Week coming your way between now and Friday right before Memorial Day. And then we'll jump back into 46 Sports Classics to bridge the gap to football season. Ava Geyer gave up 3 runs in that first inning, but since then, Bo, she's only allowed 2 hits and not an area of runner has crossed the plate.
Well, she really settled down, and again, those errors in that first inning, 37 pitches, and then it was 12 pitches, 13 pitches, 10 pitches, 10 pitches. So, yeah, she's really, really settled down in.
All 4 of the runs scored in this game have been unearned. Swing and a miss there on the first pitch to Morgan Sander, who has had a very good day today. She is 2 for 2, a single and a double. That one misses high and away. It's 1-1. So Sandor could be the counter argument if you're going to talk about a player of the game, although Berkeley Zakay, with the strikeout she's racking up and an RBI double, certainly the strongest of the candidates so far.
If you call it an RBI double.
I do.
I'm still calling that an EA.
I think DeBrookie had to run a long way to try to get that one. That's high.
She went off the glove, and it wasn't a dive. He was running. I still got Sanders with 2 hits and an RBI as of right now. Of course, Berkeley has
12 strikeouts.
12 strikeouts.
That helps the cause, too.
Yeah.
3-1 here. And Sanders been on base all 3 times. She leads off with a walk here in the 6th.
Now batting number 12, Kennedy.
So here's Kennedy Schrock. The first baseman is 0 for 2 today. Struck out looking at the first, pop to second in the 3rd. There's a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. New Prairie looking forward to a big rivalry with doubleheader Saturday with their friends from LaPorte. And St. Joe has a good NIC test from Katie Rodriguez as play Colonials next week. Bunt fielded by the first baseman Luther. She'll throw to Robakowski covering for the out. The sacrifice goes 3-4 and sends Sander over to second.
Berkeley trying to get that insurance run here in the bottom of the 6th.
He's going to pinch hit here with Christy Tingwald, the senior. Tingwald batting .333, no homers and an RBI. She drove in a run in the Indians' last game against Goshen. So Tingwald will bat for Aaron Rudge here in the 6th. Tingwald a year ago batted just 107, but she's made some progress in this her senior season. She'll try to square up one against Ava Geyer here. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Well, the center fielder DeBrookie was really playing shallow for Tingwald. She took about 3 or 4 steps back after that first pitch. That one misses high, and it's 1-1. Morgan Sander, the runner at second. St. Joe trying to add to a 3-1 lead. Check swing foul, and it's 1-2. You can check a swing against these 2 pitchers, and the ball will still hop off the bat pretty decently. They supply a lot of the power. 1-2 fouled straight back. Let's see if Geyer can change up the speed on her one more time here. Geyer is fan 4 so far today. Make it 5. Throw back to second, and Sander is back there in time as Tingwald strikes out, and it brings up Maya Newton, the left fielder.
Now batting number 6, Maya Newton.
Newton a walk and a pop out so far today. And a line drive, center field, base hit. DeBrookie will play it out there. They'll send Sander. The throw to the plate is dropped by Collins. It's 4-1 St. Joe. Collins had to extend to catch that ball. And when she tried to bring it down for the tag, she couldn't hang on. You get another look here on the 46 Sports replay.
Very interesting, and I think they're going to challenge this where the runner did not slide and just ran into her. I don't know. Come out, just talk to the catcher right there. High school rules, you have to get down. She did not get down and made contact while she was standing up. Now, it wasn't
malicious. She didn't try to.
Anything like that. She just, a lot of times you get confused. You're not sure if you're going to slide into her or run which side. And here you can see as she's coming around, she kind of stutter steps like, oh, the ball's here. It's like, oh. But there's definitely contact there.
But Gary Morris, the home plate umpire, makes no call against the runner, and so Newton stands at second now. She swaps places with Sander, and this one's popped into short right field. Robakowski goes out and makes the grab, and the inning is over. But St. Joe gets an important insurance run on a couple of hits. And after 6, the Indians lead at 4-1 on 46. And this edition of the 46 Game of the Week will be brought to you by HealthLink, your community health center. Chuck Freeby, Bo Hunt back with you at the North Fields as you look at Berkeley Zakay. The St. Joe Indian pitcher has fanned 12 so far today, and she is just 3 outs away from leading the Indians to a 3-0 record and 1-0 in the NIC over one of their biggest conference contenders. She'll have to go through the heart of the lineup here in the 7th. Ava Geyer, the New Prairie pitcher, leads it off. She has struck out looking and then popped to the catcher who made an error that allowed the only Cougar run to score. Geyer came into the game batting .500 for the year. She hit 5 homers last season, including 2 in one game against Knox. The 0-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball. That was Powder River right there, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, she's just throwing it right down the river, and it's like, here it is, hit it. Trying to finish this thing off.
See if she comes back with one more of those. She did, but she missed inside, and it's 1-2.
Just a tad inside, trying to hit that inside corner like she was earlier in the game, just painting that spot.
One of Zakay's towels came loose, and so she had to pick it up off the dirt. You get the ponytail and the towels flapping, and there's all kinds of motion out there. The 1-2 to Geyer. Popped up on the infield. Zakay wants it herself and will grab it for the out. One down in the 7th. Here's Emma Luther, the first baseman.
Number 54, Emma Luther.
0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts. Zakay misses down low for ball 1. St. Joe scored 3 in the 1st. New Prairie answered with a run in the 4th. And the Indians just tacking on a big insurance run in the 6th inning. That one missing outside, and it's 2-0. Here comes Zakay with the 2-0 pitch. And Luther showed bunt. Took it back for ball 3, and you got to figure she's taken all the way here because the Cougars need base runners.
Yeah, you need base runners, a solo shot. It wouldn't get you back within 2, but you still need base runners.
Mackenzie Waltz waits on deck. Indeed, she was taking, and it's on the inside corner, 3-1. And I think Derek Hicks wants her taken again right here. Instead, she took a big rip. Came up empty, and it's full. Berkeley Zakay, the all-NIC pitcher a year ago. Ready for the 3-2. Strike 3 called right down the middle. That is 13 strikeouts now for Berkeley Zakay as you get another look on the 46 replay. Perfectly located at the knees.
Right at the knees.
Mackenzie Waltz, the last hope for the Cougs. The left fielder 0 for 2 today. He's given great effort in the outfield with a couple of diving plays. But the early assault by the St. Joe Bats in the first inning gave Zakay a comfort zone, and she has not left it today.
Trying to pick up her 14th strikeout of the night.
And one pitch away from that and an Indian win. Walt says not so fast. Still 0-2. And here's the big right-hander's pitch. Strike 3, and this one is over. The St. Joseph Indians go to 1-0 in the Northern Indiana Conference and 3-0 on the year with a 4-1 triumph over the New Prairie Cougars. We're back with our player of the game after this on 46.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week, brought to you by
The late Father Walter Bly would tell you the sky is Columbia blue today after a St. Joe victory, 4-1 over the New Prairie Cougars in this NIC softball opener. Welcome inside the Martin Supermarket broadcast booth. Chuck and Bo high above the fray. We expected a pitcher's duel today, and to an extent we got some, but it was St. Joe's ability to make contact, especially in the first inning, putting pressure on the New Prairie defense that was ultimately the difference.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting that kind of pressure early on in the game, and with St. Joe, they were able to put that pressure on very first inning. 37 pitches, I believe, Geyer threw in that first inning, but a few errors, and that led to 3 huge runs in that first inning.
And you give a pitcher like Berkeley Zakay 3-run lead, she's not going to blow it very often. Didn't happen today. And just moments ago, Bo caught up with our player of the game, the St. Joe pitcher, Berkeley Zakay.
Standing here with our player of the game, Berkeley Zakay, 13 strikeouts tonight. You had a double in the first inning. What was it that got you guys going in that first inning?
I think that I don't remember who exactly got on first. I think it was Madeline maybe. I think her getting on and then us scoring first probably got us going a lot in the first inning. That was big for us.
You guys won state last year. Haven't got a chance to see you guys or talk to you guys. This is our first spring televised game. You guys were on that. What is it about the St. Joe community and you guys as a team that really has propelled you guys last year and into this year?
I think our fans have really helped us a lot. We've had a lot of support this year and last year. I think as a whole, like as a team, we have the greatest chemistry. So I think our chemistry and our fans have helped us propel forward.
Your sister catches you, of course. You guys grew up together. Playing catch, what's it like having her back there and knowing that the confidence that you have in her back there?
I think it's huge for me, especially. It's like a security thing. I trust her 100% with my pitch calling. Even if I don't necessarily agree with the pitch she calls, I'm like, I'm going to throw it because she sees something I don't, obviously. So I think for her being back there, it's just huge for me as a pitcher.
Hey, congratulations on being our player of the game. Best luck.
Thank you.
And New Prairie's going to face some more good pitching as early as Saturday when they face LaPorte. Pretty good doubleheader. But I think the thing Derek Hicks and the Cougars take away from this is, hey, look, we had times where we made contact against Zakay. We're probably not going to face too many pitchers as good as her. Yep. And St. Joe's in 4A. They're not a problem in that 3A path for New Prairie this year.
Yeah, I think for New Prairie, they look at that as they take away. It was a close game, yes, but they take away. They started trying to time it up later in the game. They had some opportunities, just didn't come through. But I think this was a good stepping stone for New Prairie.
And for St. Joe, of course, a key win in their quest to try to win the NIC. Of course, that road goes through Penn, much as their 4A tournament road will eventually probably go through the Kings.
Probably, and I think that's one of the things, that's going to be one of the bigger matchups of the conference. We knew this one coming in was, but Berkeley Zakay is the real deal, and we're going to be watching her on ESPN someday.
Final totals, 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Indians. The winning pitcher, Berkeley Zakay, she's now 2-0 on the year. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 errors for New Prairie. and the losing pitcher is Ava Geyer, who falls to 3-1. A reminder, we've got a great schedule coming up for you on the Game of the Week throughout the spring. It includes boys lacrosse next Friday night from School Field in South Bend as the Penn Kingsmen take on the 1A state champion South Bend Bears. We'll show it to you Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9. Our thanks to our TV46 crew. Good to see those faces after a few weeks away, and the hardworking men that bring you high school sports week in and week out here on TV46. So a reminder one more time, we've got boys lacrosse next Friday night as the South Bend Bears take on the Penn Kingsmen, and then more softball the week after that from the Northern Lakes Conference as Northridge visits Mishawaka, and we'll have that game for you on April 28th and 29th. Don't forget to follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to keep up with all the breaking sports news in Michiana. Now from our broadcast partner, the Hall of Famer Bo Hutt, it's Chuck Prairie. Once again, the final, St. Joe 4, New Prairie 1. So long from South Bend.